having a podcast is kind of like having a band without all the work and creativity.
Yeah, but if we are a band, right? Uh-huh. If this thing is a band, then I'm the like disgruntled lead singer who wants to quit every day. Like, this is my microphone and I'm taking it. Like, that's how I feel sometimes.
When
I sung for a
shout out to everybody who watched that stupid ass movie.
Hey, that was a good movie.
That was not a good movie.
Hey, well, when I my second band, I did vocals, and I always use my own mic. I never fucking wanted to use their fucking mics that everyone's had their goddamn mouth on and shit.
Please tell me you know which movie we're referencing.
No.
Nice.
Okay, so my ex-wife is a fan of the Wahlbergs, so of course that was my entry. That was my interest, my entrance to the movie Rockstar, which was kind of loosely based off of was it Iron Maiden?
It's like Steel Panther or something like that.
Yeah, but I think his circumstance was kind of based off of the guy who came in after Halford left.
Oh, I got you.
And then all of this stuff is like similar. Like, he leaves, and then when the new guy comes in, it's like,
oh, you're talking about Judas Priest, right?
Judas Priest. There we go. I don't know. I'm not white.
Well, when you said Halford. That reminded me.
But yeah, and then it's like, what do you mean you didn't know he was gay? Like, you know what I mean? Like,
I mean, when I look at pictures of Judas Priest, you're like, but I didn't know he was gay.
Let's be honest. Until you get the information and you go back and look, how many of us really understood about George Michael? Like, you know what I mean? Like, like he was like the ladies' man up until he wasn't. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and then he goes, then you go like, oh, he's gay. And then you go back to the Wake Me Up Before You Go video. And it's like, oh.
Hello.
What's up, man?
I made it. Sorry, I am late.
It's all good. Chase is usually late, so we're good.
Fantastic. I am in good company then.
But yeah, like, so like the idea, like, like, there's times where we just don't know. Like,
well, pretty much anybody that I've ever known that have came out, I'm like, you're right. They're the only people that I'm like wondering, why isn't this person gay?
I came in an interesting part of the conversation.
I work with a very loud talker that gets on these conference calls and like is flamboyant on these calls, but dude's got a wife and kids, and
so he got a beard.
I mean, he seems to be making it just fine. But like, if you ever met him and talked to him, be like, oh yeah, I'm pinging in the red.
Okay, but sometimes it's a situation like mine where I don't have a deep voice. And like, I typically, when I meet somebody, I start getting those questions pretty early. And they start looking at me a little funny, and I'm just kind of like, no, dog, I just got this light ass voice. Like, it's not like, because to be honest, I don't really sound like this. My voice is a lot lighter than this. I learned over the course of high school to start talking like this so I would stop getting those questions.
Mm. Yeah, but it's not like you're going around, you're like super into the Spice Girls, and like you're like
Spice Girls are fucking dope. What are you talking about?
Well, maybe I retract my statement.
Are you saying? You really think it's present tense? They are dope, or they were dope?
No, they are dope.
Maybe they're dope. If
you like them, then you're allowed to still like them now. But it's just like we were talking about with The Office before.
No, but see, here's the thing. I haven't seen all of them in a while. But all of the ones that I have seen recently are still Spice Girls. You know what I'm saying? Like, they haven't turned into the Spice Rack Girls yet. You know what I mean?
Rack Girls.
The Spice Rack.
The expiration date has not passed on the Spice.
I think we got her.
Shape of the Spice Girls. That would be hilarious.
I think we got our show title, The Spice Rat Girls.
Damn it! I got it. Okay, I'll do it. I'll do that. You start the show.
All right. What's up, everybody? This is Scarcasm. We have two guests with us tonight. We have Meef J, better into the podcasting sphere.
What's up?
And we have Lucas Ham, who is the Good Morning guy.
Good morning, my brothers and sisters.
What's up, guys?
Good morning.
Good morning. It's morning somewhere.
Yeah, it is. All right, so we've never met. So, like, tell me
that is correct.
Tell me a little bit about yourself.
So, I am a West Virginian by, what do you call that? By birth? Yeah.
By meth?
I almost lived in West Virginia.
You almost? How does that work?
My old job, I used to be in self-storage, and they acquired a property in what's it called, Charleston,
close enough.
Charleston, and
isn't that Virginia? That was like a colony, wasn't it? Charlestown.
Isn't that where the town with all the Nazis and stuff?
Jamestown is the one.
That's Charlottesville.
Yeah.
He's talking about where that dude ran over that other person.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm getting where
yeah. That's an hour away from here. But
like Charles 2,000 pounds. Charleston.
Okay. And then they acquired a property and they were looking for somebody to go. I was gonna go because the property had an apartment and it would have put me closer to my daughter, who had not too long before that moved to Baltimore.
Okay.
I live in Virginia, so I'm
gotcha.
So
well, you know what?
I'm not that far away.
According to half the people I talk to when I say I'm from West Virginia, I'm also from Virginia. They're like, Virginia. And I'm like, not the same state. So, you'll have that sometimes.
I mean, you used to be like past tense, like.
I mean, that's true. Back in the early 1800s, I guess I'll give you that.
Yes.
But I'm a West Virginian by birth. I currently live in Brazil as a missionary.
That's dope.
And yeah, I've lived there for the past 7 years. And honestly, after living here for 7 years, I tell most people that my body is American, but my heart is Brazilian. They just have a way of life and a way of being that matches up more with my personality. I mean, I kind of exemplified it tonight because I was 30 minutes later than the time that you guys suggested, which, if anybody listens to the Good Morning Guys, I am consistently late on there. I'm pretty sure they tell me times like half an hour before it's supposed to be, just so I show up kind of on time.
I do that with my sister. I tell my sister every time we're supposed to meet for something, I'll tell her an hour or two before the thing actually is supposed to start. Yeah,
what's funny is my sister is like twice or three times as bad as me, so we all do that in the family with her because she is consistently 3 hours late. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. I'm going to need you to be here at 4 a.m.
Yeah, we're doing it early.
Yeah, we're starting early.
Thanksgiving dinner's at 4 a.m.
So is the Good Morning Guys, is that like a kind of an ironic name for the podcast since you're always not on time?
I mean, we kind of operate under the understanding with the Good Morning Guys podcast that it's morning somewhere. So we're just going to have that chipper go-to attitude. Now, what's ironic is none of the guys except for me are Good Morning Guys. Like, they hate the morning. We never even record in the morning. We've done it one time, and I was like, I was pretty much Mr. Rogers, and the rest of them were like Squidward or something. I was like SpongeBob, to keep it all on the same show. I was SpongeBob, and they were all Squidward. They're just like, I'm like, hey guys.
I did that for a little bit. For a while, for the one of the other podcasts that I do, the Dream Team. One of the podcast guys moved to Korea to teach English.
Oh yeah.
So
I have a friend that did that.
So we were recording at like
Korea or West Korea, because there's a difference.
Did you say West Korea?
It's a throwback to the Virginia conversation.
I know what you mean. I know what you mean.
Wow.
But yeah, we were recording shows at like 9 or 10 o'clock in the morning my time. And that was a little bit rough, especially on Rashani, who lives in California. So that was fun.
Yeah.
So I don't miss being up that early to record a podcast.
Yeah, and I don't really either. Like there's a point where my daughter, when she was like 2.5 years old and my son was about to be born, that she decided, you know what? The new get up time is 5:30. And that's actually when I fell back in love with gaming, because that was the only thing I could do at that time to stay awake with my daughter. I mean, I guess I could have just slept on the couch and let her just watch YouTube or do whatever. But I thought, you know what? I'm already up. I might as well do
read
something.
Your Bible, you heathen.
I mean, I could have done that.
No.
But let's be honest.
It was on audiobook while I was playing Halo.
I read the Bible. Yeah, that's right. I was playing some Borderlands, and then I muted it, and I just started going through Genesis all the way to Revelation. It was a good time.
Yeah, narrated by the guy who plays Scooter. Like
that's correct. Yeah, let's get in some Exodus. Yeah. But no, so I'm a missionary, but I'm also an avid gamer. I love. I live in Brazil, I still keep up with pop culture, and actually Brazil is all about the U.S. They love Netflix. They love American movies. Like Endgame was a huge deal when that came out earlier this year. It was crazy. And so I got to be all a part of that. 10 years ago in Brazil, movies were coming out a year after the fact, and everything's coming out late. But there's actually been a couple times that I've watched Marvel movies before my American friends, so it's pretty crazy.
I just watched Endgame twice. Not a week, but like just short of 2 weeks ago, I watched Endgame twice.
Like back to back, or for the second time?
No, I watched it. I rented it because my daughter hadn't seen it. And so I went back and I watched Captain Marvel. I rented that, and then. So we record up, and then we watched Endgame together, and then I was at work bored, so I watched Endgame again. I still had it for like 48 hours, and I was just like, well, I'm gonna get my 48 hours worth.
Wait, do you still do storage? Where do you work that you can just watch a movie?
Well, I do not do storage anymore. I currently work for a moving company where I work in the office.
Gotcha.
And so basically I'm just there. Main thing I do is answer the phones, and then somebody calls, I answer the questions, or if they want a quote, then I do the quote over the phone or schedule someone to go out and do an in-home quote. It's not really a whole lot to my job, and
I gotcha.
And it just kind of slowed down. I mean, it slowed down so much last year. I bought a Switch. So just for something to do at work.
Just for something to do at work. It's my work device.
Yeah, it really
Switch.
Was. That's nice. And when the work picked back up, I stopped using my Switch, and I rarely touch my Switch these days. But it's slowing back down, and it's just like, well, I mean, I only got to pause it to answer the phone, and once I'm off the phone, I can
get right back in.
Yeah, and since it's something that I've already seen, like it's not that big of a deal. Like if it was something I was watching for the first time, then like starting and stopping all the time would probably be pretty terrible. But no, since it's something I already seen, I mean, some of the stuff I skipped through, like all of the Ant-Man walking through the streets and shit, like the part of the movie that I thought was kind of useless, like the first third, is kind of is like has all of the skippables, but I will say that kid that he runs into on the bicycle, worst actor in the movie. Like he's just like, what happened? And the kid just stares at him for a second. Yeah, like
I'm like, what? That's all you're gonna do?
Could you have said anything? Like, like what? I mean, it's almost as if like he had a speaking line and that was so bad that we just put the look in. Like,
just cut it out. Cut it out completely. Like, he had this monologue where he just went into this cry story, and they're like, no, we don't like it. Cut it out.
Yeah, like it's like, like it's almost like, because they said that they filmed a bunch of stuff that didn't actually make it into the movie, like an extra like hours worth of stuff.
I'd love to watch that. That would be awesome.
I would love for like that there be a deleted scene where that dude just kind of busts into a soliloquy and like starts like really going into like the deformation of society at the hands of Thanos. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
perfect.
That would have been perfect exposition.
Yeah.
But I'll go ahead.
I was about to say that, yeah, that's what we've lost from like not having Blu-rays or DVDs as prevalent nowadays, is that you don't really get that like kind of special features type stuff anymore, and that stuff was cool.
I miss special features, bro.
You do a little bit in Voodoo because, well, the only thing I've really owned from Voodoo is stuff that I've had the DVD or Blu-ray and then had a code or whatever. But it does play like a DVD. Like, it has scenes and deleted scenes and all that kind of stuff, pretty much like a digital Blu-ray or DVD, which is cool, but not. I hardly hear anybody talk about Voodoo.
Yeah, I want to say, since having kids, I've realized that the special features cannot be a part of my life until they graduate and go off to college, because I just cannot. I don't have time. I think the last special features I watched was to Two Towers, when it had like Andy Serkis in his gray suit, like dancing around in a creek and talking about how Viggo Mortensen like caught people a bunch of fish, and it was actually really fascinating. And I loved it, but I just don't have time. I remember one time with my best friend in high school, we were watching what is that movie?
The Matrix.
That's a good guess. Instead, it's another The movie, The Gladiator, instead of The Matrix. It was The Gladiator. And my friend and I watched the movie.
I just saw LeBron James flexing. So that made me think of The Gladiator, because he has the what we do in Echo's Eternity inside of his biceps.
It took me a second to get where you were going with that. But
He's like The Gladiator. I just told.
Oh yeah, LeBron James flexing. That's the same thing.
Pretty sure it's just Gladiator, but go ahead.
But after my friend and I watched it, I think that movie's like 2.5 hours, right? It's pretty good long movie. And we were like, you know what? We were all hyped up and we were like, let's watch the special features. And we turned it on, and the beginning, I don't know, it's not announcer, just the guy introducing the narrator, that works. He was like, for the next 9 hours, we are going to, and we were like, nope, 9 hours.
For the next
pass.
9 hours. That is crazy. So, yeah, no special features for me anymore, but I appreciate them.
You know what spoiled me on special features?
The Matrix.
Was it Halo 2? I think it was Halo 2. It might have been Halo 2 or Halo 3.
Okay.
Portal.
No, what happened was there was the enhanced edition, which is the last one that I watched. They actually had some like director's commentary or whatever like that. And like, I was jazzed about it because, I'm really that guy that will sit there and watch the director's commentary, which is one of the reasons why I love Battlestar Galactica, because that guy did like a little podcast for every episode on the DVDs. Every episode he did one.
Nice.
But the one of the creators of Bungie, I think his name is Jason Jones or something like that, absolutely did not want to be there for this. And he just kind of soured the whole thing for me. Like, I'm just like, bro, like, if you didn't want to be there, why'd you show up and just kind of ruin the experience for everybody? Because I was just like, yo, I was really excited to watch this, but like the fact that he is acting like he couldn't care less about being there that day, that really soured me on the whole thing.
Yeah, that's kind of weird for him to have that attitude when he was a part of that process, but not everyone's down for that.
Right.
Could have just been a bad day, and then he didn't have time to do it on another day.
Then go home. Let the rest of them do it.
Yeah, it's true. They really should have recognized that he was not in the mood and just switched him out and just have someone just pretend to be him. And, he
just got you to do it.
Cleared his throat. Oh, yeah, I'd love to do that. Halo 2, I played that 20 years ago. I don't think it's 20 years old, but yeah. So yeah, missionary, up with the pop culture, and I love video games. So, but I'll say it up front.
What do you think about the Spice Girls?
I'm a Sony pony. The Spice Girls.
You said you're up on the pop culture. I'm just asking.
No, but they're
relevant.
They're 90s. That is relevant. I am stuck in my music selection. I am very much stuck in the 90s and early 2000s. So I like the Spice Girls.
Okay.
Tell me what you want. What you really want.
Exactly. There you go.
I wanna really get down. Oh man.
Yeah, me's just throwing out like inside jokes before you even started, and like.
I know. And I'm just walking right into them. I'm like, what are you talking about? Instead of just be cool, man. This is your first time here. If you don't get it, it's probably an inside joke. No, I'm just like, what are you guys talking about? Bull in a China shop, podcast in China shop.
I mean, I could just, ask you the question that would kind of ruin this whole thing.
Oh, please do.
Okay, what's your favorite Spice Girl song outside of Wannabe?
Crap. I mean, I want to say that I've heard songs outside of the Spice Girls wannabe song, but I can't remember them. I'll be honest. I got nothing. Now, if you sing it for me,
I'm good.
I'm good. Come on,
naked.
We got to sing it. You don't just say words.
I do actually
Sing naked.
I do actually have one. Oh, you don't really want me to sing while I'm naked. Man boobs,
no,
everything.
You're right.
Man boobs, like gray hair taco meat. Like it's not a good thing. Like I'm almost old. Like I'll be 40 in a few weeks.
I know. Like, I heard that last week.
Bruh, it's not. This is not good. Like I don't like this. You know, like when you have that. When you turn 30. Right before you turn 30, you start having some like self-reflection. Mm-hmm. And it's just like, I'm about to turn 40 and I'm just looking back on everything like, damn it, I'm getting old. Like,
yeah,
I have, like I look at like high school and college kids as kids. Yep, like they're kids to me now. And I'm just like, yo, when did I get this old?
Yep.
Because I love marching bands. I'm a marching band guy. And like, a lot of bands are showing off their, this is like right after like the training camp and stuff like that. So a lot of them recording YouTube videos and stuff like that and putting them up, or like, like presentations of like this we got this year, like type stuff. And I'm just watching the camera go around and I'm like, these are all just children.
Yeah, they really are.
Well, like, and even the ones that don't look like children, you're like, she could be 30 or 17. I'm really not sure. I'm too old to tell.
I went to a high school band competition. I think it was last year. And like, there's this one school. I'm not gonna say what school, but like the dance girls. One of them had the leader of the dance girls, and she looked like she got bills. Like I'm not like. I mean, she looked like
she's getting a child support check every month.
Yeah, she looked like. She looked like she got to pay rent. Like that's how, like the whole rent. Not like I live with my mama and them, and they make me pay some rent. Like no, like the landlord was at my house yesterday because it's the 5th, and I ain't had like, you know what I mean? Like
it's the first of the month,
right? If I'll never see my landlord until the 5th, like.
Oh, jeez. Well, as a missionary, I like coordinate mission trips. So usually one of my most common mission trips is with college students, and I constantly refer to them as kids, and they go with it. But I was thinking about that too. Just a couple weeks ago, I was talking to someone. I'm like, yeah, so these kids, I'm like, they're college kids. Yeah, they're kids.
They're still kids.
Yeah. They're still kids. They're kids.
Yeah, the opposite of that. Like, growing up, I was really big into the punk and hardcore scenes. And like a lot of that, you would call each other kids. So it's like, oh, these fucking kids, open this shit up, type shit. And you're like, now it's like, if I wanted to make another hardcore band, could I sing songs about being kids when I'm like halfway to 30 or halfway to 40?
Of course, because words have no meaning anymore.
Yeah, that's right. You can say whatever you want. It can mean what you want it to mean.
And also, Linkin Park made a career out of Teenage Angst.
Until they didn't.
I mean, I'm pretty sure that if they made more music, I'm pretty sure there would be some Teenage Angst.
If they could,
I'm pretty sure they still can. Like, you still got to do that rap, right? Like, he can do things. Like, he just got to do it by himself, and like maybe like get some guests in to sing. Like, I mean, there's a couple people like friends of the family that that ain't really around no more either. So like. So like maybe you need to find somebody who's not undercover suicidal, but I don't know how you figure that part out.
Hey, I mean, if they can hologram Tupac up on stage, I'm sure they can get Chester up there.
You know what? I still say one of the most beautiful things I've ever seen was like after he died, they were playing I can't remember what song it was. But it was a Linkin Park performance.
In the end.
Was it in the end?
It was probably in the end.
It was probably, but like, do you really want to do In the End? Because that was like all of the young kids like Suicide Song, and then like the guy committed suicide, which is a little weird. But there was a clip of a performance where the band kind of went to the sides and kind of played away from the microphone. Everything went dark. There was a spotlight on the microphone, and the crowd sang for him.
That's cool.
And it was moving. Like, you know me, I'm not really about that life, but I felt something. Like it was a moment.
Yeah.
I want
to like that.
So what's going on with you, Meef? Follow up. Well, casually talking about suicide with, right in the Meef. Let's go.
Yeah. That sounds like a good segue.
Yeah. So some of the listeners will know I used to host a podcast called Everyday Gamers, and we did over 350 episodes.
Yeah, you did. I actually listened to a few of your older episodes.
Yeah. And, it was kind of one of those things where life got busy. Chris, who lives in New York, he had to, do some life stuff. We brought on a buddy of mine, Blake, who I grew up with, and we did some episodes, but then, life got busy, and kind of like Scar, you talked about several times, it just wasn't in me anymore. And I'm like, I'm not going to just hop on here and dial it in. That's not a product I want to put out.
I do that every week. Right before the show, I'm like, but yeah, now I'm here, and the show must go on.
Well, and like you've seen it with shows like the 40 Cast and Dad's Getting Grounded, where they've been like, all right, we're going to hang it up. Dad Tales Podcast is another one where they're like, all right, we've done what we set out to do, and we're good with it. We're good with moving on, letting somebody else carry the torch or what have you. So, since I've not moved on, because I still hang out with Eric and Chris and Blake and everything. But since ceasing to record that, I'm just gaming with my homies and doing real life stuff. So
it's cool, man.
I'm still kind of mad that AZ ain't never called me for another show. He's always like, trying to get everybody together, and I'm just like, bruh, why didn't you call your boy? I only got to be on like 1.5 episodes.
And Scar's good about cleaning up the language.
I am, except for here.
But you don't have to here.
This is your turf, so you have the right.
Yeah, but like sometimes you want to be careful, especially when you have other people on and you just don't know where everything's gonna go. So you like at the beginning of the episode, like today, you just kind of
missionary.
Yeah, you just kind of cuss a little bit and you just see what the reaction is, and then you go,
I can't believe you said that.
And then instead of just coming out and saying fuck, you just go fuck.
Yeah,
and that's it was like,
you're like,
yeah, you stretch it out a little bit just to see what the reaction is. So like I've been there too.
Hey, Chase already warned me, so it's all good, man. I have uncles that say what they want. I have friends at all levels of life that say what they want. It's all good.
That's good. Like, man, I like that. I like the,
what they really, really want.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, if I'm being completely honest. When I was in elementary school, that's where I got most of my cursing and foul language out of my system.
Dude, I did the same thing. I
was a sailor in elementary school.
I was the same way. And I remember, of course, I go to a 1A Christian high school with like 46 people in my graduating class. So it's like one of them. And I remember probably 11th, 12th grade, me and all my buddies made a New Year's resolution, like, we're going to stop cussing. And I was like, okay. And I did. So that was kind of the end of that.
Never look back. There you go.
Wasn't the word meef the replacement?
Yeah, I mean, it was for a bit. And it wasn't just a, swear word replacement. Like, its like inception.
What the meef?
Exactly. But its inception was basically, it means what it needs to mean to fit the context of the situation. So it could be like, oh, sweet meef. I just, my fantasy team just won. Sweet like, meef. Oh yeah, dude. Exactly. And so like, it wasn't always simply just, it replaces the F word or whatever.
Did you ever stack it like Man, I'm meefed right now.
Absolutely.
Positively. All right,
Yeah.
that's good to know.
Absolutely.
Kind of like Louisiana people and Black Louisiana people and the word warty.
If you say so.
Warty.
What?
Warty.
I'm going to need more information on that.
It's the same thing as meef. Like
okay. It just replaces.
It's
and some people say Smurf and this.
Yeah, in southeastern Virginians in the word jank.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
it's a noun. It's any noun.
In like North Carolina and Appalachia, they don't say y'all. They say yuns. And
that's weird.
It's so weird.
Yuns.
Yeah.
As someone from Appalachia, I will say that Northern West Virginians do not say yuns. We say y'all.
Okay.
Yuns. I've never said that one, but I have heard that one.
Chase is just making up facts at this point.
Yeah.
That's what I do. I make up stuff so people think I'm smart.
There you go. You are the expert ambassador.
And failing.
I know. But that's the part. It's, self-deprecation, It's
somebody's got to do it.
Yeah.
But I think this is the first podcast I've been on since I was on with some of the Dad Tales podcast guys. I did, probably 3 or 4 shows with them. They were good times.
Nice.
It's always good to like when say Devious Mr. Matt, he got tired of all the editing and like trying to host and like getting everything together to where like kind of still like you want to do the podcast thing, but then you become a co-host, which you don't have to do any of that stuff. You just talk.
Yeah, and heck, I did that with Gamers Unscripted for a while with me, Sean Evans from OMG Hour. Mike was on there for a bit. Jeremy was on there for a bit. Like we had people from like all these different podcasts, and it was cool because like it was just a different dynamic and a different feel, kind of like what we got tonight. But
I missed that show. Actually, the first time I was on that show was because of you. Because you were on vacation or something like that, and you suggested that they have me on. That was the first time I was ever on the show.
Yeah, and I think that was kind of the idea behind it, is that as anyone couldn't make it, we'd bring somebody from like an outside podcast. So I think we had people from Gamer Husbands on there and all sorts of shows. So
and that's how I found out about a lot of those podcasts, that I consider that's not really associated with OFR, but are like OFR adjacent, I guess.
Right.
Where, like Gamers and Beta aren't so really associated with anybody.
Yeah, and even Everyday Gamers was never like in the OFR network. We were just family, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right. I was actually on an older episode of Gamer Husbands, and I didn't say a word, and I know people don't believe me. I did not say a word on that podcast for the first 20 minutes.
Wow.
And I was not muted. I didn't say a word.
It's because you became a fan.
No, that was a show format issue. I think they are better about it now.
No, what happened was
it was all right, Sam, you go talk about this game that I haven't ever touched for 20 minutes, and I'm going to go make me a salad or something.
No, what happened was like right before
20-minute salad.
Right before I was right before that episode, they had some sort of tornadoes that messed up a bunch of stuff, and it was where they were. So I didn't have anything to say about it because it was where they were.
Oh, that was the perfect moment to be like, so let me tell you about this movie, Twister. That's how I relate to what we're talking about right now.
Yeah. Speaking of Brazil, have you been fighting any rainforest fires?
No, because full disclosure, I'm actually not in Brazil right now. I'm kind of finishing up. I'm in the last month of my missionary tour, as it were. So every few years, missionaries kind of have to return back to the U.S. or wherever their home area is and kind of go around to the churches and talk about what they're doing, where they're serving, share stories, raise money, all that kind of jazz. So that's what I'm doing right now. I'm actually in Fort Wayne, Indiana. So I'll be here for the next month.
That's got to be a rough place to be in right now. With Andrew Luck, that's got to be
man, it took up the conversation in church this morning. It was really funny. We got in and I was like, "Hey, how you doing?" And someone walked in and was like, "What happened? We're screwed." And just like, it's so funny how they all reacted. I was like, "Oh, right. I'm in Indiana." I had seen it last night and I was like, "He's retiring. How old is he? He's like half my age and he's retiring 29. Already?" I know.
He's 29 and he called it quits.
Yeah, I mean, I guess usually you get out while you're ahead, but I don't even think he's ahead. So.
I think it was just like the toll of having to come back from all of these injuries and all of this kind of stuff. Yeah. I think it was just like, man, I just can't do it like I did it. So let me just not do it at all.
I liked him a lot as a person. Like when I watched him with Stanford, right?
Stafford's his son. Stanford's son.
Yes. So I enjoyed watching him in college, and then I was real sad that it never really panned out with the Colts. But
but it's one of those things to where it's like the Colts never really put much around him, and he still excelled when he was healthy enough to play. And it's just like for the last couple of years, he just hasn't been very healthy. And you gotta at some point you had to make a decision. Like, is it going to be worth me trying to get back out there just for me to get hurt again?
I think he needs to Derrick Rose it and just play it until he's turned into a bionic man.
Pretty much. I mean, but Derrick Rose, like, he turned it up. Like, was it last year where he had the 50-point game?
Yeah.
Like, he could do it every once in a while, but like, he can't do it like he did it. But because his game was built on explosiveness, and like, he's not really explosive anymore. It's just like, we're playing against the NBA's version of the Browns today. Like, let's do this.
Get 50 points, baby.
Hey, don't poop on the Browns. They built up.
They're the team to beat this year.
But they ain't won nothing yet. Like,
exactly. That's why they're the team.
They're going to be fun to watch, though. If nothing else, they'll be fun to watch.
The story is going to be fun to follow. But like, let's not forget that they still the Browns, and like the problem with the Browns, the problem with the Browns is
they're located in Cleveland.
Well, that too, but it's not just being in Cleveland. It's the fact that like their mismanagement is not really the players' fault. Like, it comes from the top, and it's always been from the top. And like, they can't keep a coach for like 2 years at the most. Like, you know what I mean? Like, all of this other stuff, like the higher ups, like the owner and all this other stuff. Like, come on, man. The owner said a homeless man told him to bring in Johnny Manziel. Like, a homeless man told him on the street to go ahead and draft that dude. Like, who listens to a homeless man when you a billionaire?
A desperate man.
Maybe he's humble.
Maybe he's humble. That is half glass full.
Humble people don't make billions of dollars.
That is a generalization, sir.
Yes.
No,
that's not very.
He's right.
That's not very. There's not very many good men with $1 billion.
Yeah,
including JC.
Yeah, we could have said Dr. Dre, but as we learned last week, he's not $1 billion man.
Nope, not at all.
Sad day. Yeah, so give me the rundown. I'll be honest. I've only listened to the majority of one episode of Scarcasm. And maybe you got a new listener today. You never know. What are you guys all about here on Sarcasm?
Really, it's
we talk about vaping for about 90 minutes.
That is not true.
Then they get to the show. That's
not true. We vape all the way through the show, but we don't talk very much about vaping. I
do feel left out.
Okay, so the rundown is simple. We just is more of a, like what a lot of podcasts have, that what you've been playing section.
Yeah.
It's basically that for a whole show.
And then a lot of like,
it was really
this new mod and these supersized coils. And
new mod? Does that look like a new mod?
This, I got this juice called Smoke Perp, and
no, I'm on honeydew strawberry menthol right now.
Oh, I was close.
Sounds magical. Honey milk.
Yeah, as long as it has the word honey in it, you're good. So,
but I got some new stuff that's like that. But see, we don't do that.
Honey watermelon.
We don't do that much here because like people like me was just like, yeah, as soon as y'all start talking about vaping, I was like, clock out. You know what I mean? So like, we don't really talk about it that much. The plan was to do a separate show where we talked about the vaping stuff, but like Chase never came around. Like we set up a whole place
what are you talking about? What about Chase never came around? It just never happened.
So instead, it's just every show.
Yeah. So, but no, it's really that. It was really that on a more kind of structured basis where we talked about like what movies and TV have you watched, what games have you played, like that type of thing, and then that just kind of got boring. So we just have a conversation. This is like the kind of podcast that I really dig, are like, it's a conversation between friends type thing.
Or husbands and wives.
Yeah. That type of thing. Like it's a conversation that everybody is a part of. And Chase does this. You can't hear that. Like he has 2 separate mics. So like we hear his part of the conversation, but they won't hear it on the actual feed.
Oh, okay.
It's really weird. It's super weird because he uses 2 different mics. It's really weird and it's really off-putting, and everybody listening to this on the feed is like, what are you talking about? Chase just randomly has conversations with people.
Did you hear what she said?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
What she said?
I didn't.
I was too
Milk,
busy.
bread, eggs, butter, coffee creamer. We got it all.
Grocery list.
Yeah, pretty much. But the podcasts that I really dig are just like, it's just like a conversation between friends. And so we still try to do the what you've been playing parts of it, but like we realize that the show is a lot more fun for us when we're just having a conversation that happens to be recorded.
And then you just kind of stealth in the what have you been playing at some point.
Yeah, absolutely. Because we
it's not organic, it's organic.
And Chase interjects stupid jokes.
I don't know what to do with that word.
That's a quote from the B movie.
Oh, that's in the B movie? I'm gonna mark that on my memory. I watched that with my kids.
I don't have no kids around. I don't really have no kids around very much.
Organic.
So like all of
like I should be offended.
They're stealing honey.
Yeah.
It's organic. It's organic. I don't know, man.
I don't know nothing about no B movie. Like my daughter's 11. All she cares about is K-pop right now. So
oh gosh,
B movie's better than K-pop.
I'm pretty sure it is.
Agreed.
I'm pretty sure it is. I can all but confirm that. But like, I don't have a kid around most of the time, so like a lot of this stuff. Even she looked at me funny the other day where we were talking about something and she mentioned The Princess and the Frog, and I was just like, well, I've never seen The Princess and the Frog. What do you mean you've never seen The Princess and the Frog? You ain't never here. You live in Baltimore. Like, what, how about, what, I'm just going to sit down and watch The Princess and the Frog? Like, that's how this is supposed to go?
Is like, this the Louisiana one? Like
yeah.
That's really good. I like that movie.
The voodoo one. Yeah.
Yeah. And, the lady who plays Tiana, I actually worked with her brother for a little while before she was famous.
That's cool.
Name dropping.
Yeah.
No, he was just a dude, and like at the time she had only been like a bit player in the Kelly Clarkson movie, and like it was just like, oh, your sister's a singer, like that's really cool. And then all of a sudden she was in like Dreamgirls, and she played a little bit in Power and like all of this other stuff. And then The Princess and the Frog was just like, hey, I know her. Well, actually, I know her brother, but I know who she is, like that type of thing.
Yeah. Mm. Oh man, almost forgot. Yeah, the day after the podcast, I was like, man, this should have happened before the podcast, but. You know the times when you're like, man, I have faith in humanity. They're like, not that they're bad or good, but that they're not dumb. Well,
I've not had those moments.
I had the opposite of that moment. Okay, I was sitting at Sheetz, waiting for my buddy to go get some food.
For the people who don't have a Sheetz in their area, explain what Sheetz is.
Yeah, it's like a 7-Eleven, but kind of I think it originated in like West Virginia area.
Yeah, and they sell bed sheets and gasoline and hoagies.
It's kind of like Wawa to the rest of us, right?
Yeah.
To the rest of us, really? Is Wawa that well known?
Wawa is.
It's well known enough.
I mean, I've seen it in Maryland and maybe Virginia,
right? Florida,
like East Coast, but that covers how much of the United States?
They're not really in North Carolina. I haven't seen one.
Y'all ain't got no Wawas in North Carolina, bro.
We got a whole lot of sheets.
Hey, Chase, can you confirm? Do people refer to the Carolinas as Kakalaki, like North and South Kakalaki ever?
They do, but it's not like a.
Only the Yuns do.
Yeah.
Oh, the Yuns. Okay.
As my understanding of it is, like, people near like the Virginians and stuff, and the people who are around, they refer to it as that, but like they don't refer to that themselves.
I gotcha. Okay, just confirming
because I've always thought of it as like we speak of it North Cac or South Cac, like, and we all know what we're talking about. But
you guys shorten it to Cac?
Yeah, I'm from Newport News, which is not too far away from North Carolina, so it's always been North Cac to me.
All right. That's
but anyway, I was sitting at Sheets, right?
Star's allowed to say things that you and I are not allowed to say. That's the moral of the story here.
Wait, I'm only allowed to say, what, one thing? But like, y'all are allowed to say, like, hey, I looked at my credit report. This is actually pretty good.
Yep. That's how I start lots of conversations.
I look at my credit report and I'm like, fuck.
You're not gonna finish that, are you?
But anyway, I was at Sheets, right?
All right.
And I was sitting there, and if I'm in my car, I rarely lock my doors. You know what I mean? Because I'm in my car. And this girl walked by, and I kind of like noticed the shirt. It was like a hurricane shirt or whatever, because it's freaking huge. And then, I kind of looked on, kind of waiting for my dude, and also my door opened. And the girl just like got in, sat down, shut the door. And I was like, hi. And she kind of looked at me and smiled, kind of looked off. I was like, for a couple of seconds, I waited to see if she's going to ask for money or a ride or cigarettes or whatever. And she didn't seem homeless or anything. She was wearing fresh clothes, and she's probably about 25, blonde hair. And then I was like, why are you in my car?
Capricorn. She likes long walks on the beach.
Between the ages of 17 and 33, somewhere in there.
Did you read this off Tinder? Where is this information?
Well, anyway, she busts out laughing, and she says, oh my God, sorry, wrong car. And she gets out and goes and gets into another car that looks almost like mine. And I was just like, what the fuck just happened? Because for one, you're just going to open the door and be like, oh man, you're going to realize that the phone isn't like it was, that it might had, the other car had some CDs in the floor or whatever. And you'd be like, oh, that's not my car, sorry. And you'll close it. To get in, sit
way
down,
more than you're giving it credit for. Like,
sit in and look at me and be like,
kids have tried to get into strangers' cars when I'm literally walking with them, and I'm like, what are you doing? Like,
yeah, but to sit down and look at the person that is not the person you're riding with, be like, yep, he's the person I'm with. This is where I need to be right now. I'm just like, what the fuck? Sorry.
Maybe, I don't know. Like, maybe, she seemed, I don't know what to say. Maybe she was high, and it was just like, all right, this is close enough.
Being a little,
very likely she was under the influence of something.
Yeah, being under the influence. The only other thing that's completely logical is maybe her Uber driver said, I'm in a white Toyota, and then she just got in the car, and there's a dude, and she's like, kind of nervous because it might have been her first time in an Uber. And then I was like, why are you in my car? And she was like, oh my God, it's not. But she didn't explain herself or anything. But she could have just been super embarrassed. But I don't know. But when I looked she got into a car that was at a gas pump. And then I started thinking back. I was like, I think she got in the driver's seat. So that don't make any sense either.
Yeah, that makes everything.
That doesn't make any sense for sure if she gets in the driver's seat.
Not at all.
And it don't make any sense that she didn't even ask for anything. No money, no cigarettes or anything. Well, anyway, on Thursday, and this is another, like, what is going on is...
drugs.
Maybe.
Say no to drugs.
Amber met with Aiden's teacher, like, the week before, and I thought that was, like, the orientation, but it wasn't. She was super tired on the orientation day because she had a bunch of running around to do, and it was really hot that day. So I went, and he has autism, and he has a special class that... You know what?
You are taking so long to tell whatever story you're telling right now. Come the fuck on.
Okay, I'm telling my story.
Come on, tell a story. Just get to the meat.
I don't want to tell it no more.
Finish Chase's story for him, okay?
All right, so Amber was busy. Chase went instead. He goes to the school. They set up what's called an IEP plan, which is like a educational program for kids with special needs. And so Chase got it handled, and Aiden's all set up now. We get to go.
I wish that was the story.
That's a good...
I wish that was the story. But the IEP has been already done, right? So, and then throughout this whole thing, he went to a school called Polina, and then they're out of district. And the reason he went there is because the school that was in district didn't have the classroom that he needed, so he was out of district. And then they went to another school, so we were trying to get him to go to that school that they went to. And plus, there's a little girl that goes to that school, and I think Scar might remember this little girl from like a couple of years ago, where we were like, our whole house got trashed because Amber like looked after her, and her mom completely took advantage of her.
I do know what you're talking about, but you tell stories like my child.
Yeah, but anyway, I have to set up this shit. So we didn't want her to go to that school because he's very impressionable, and like that girl was like went into a rage one day because she was not old enough to marry Aiden.
Wait, how old is your kid again?
He's 10.
Okay.
So,
gotcha.
Somewhere between 5 and 25. We're not quite sure.
We're still working on that.
But but anyway, when I got there, that little girl was like a mascot of the school almost. She was like in a cheerleading outfit, like getting everybody into the door and like cheering, but not really. And her parents weren't anywhere to see things. I was like, oh my god. So I go in there, and then they were like, sixth graders this way, parents this way, and there was so many people. So I was like, okay, whatever. So Aiden went off with them, and I went into a meeting about social media and all this stuff, and I signed up for some sort of thing to see grades and all this. And then that took like an hour. And then I was trying to find Aiden, and I couldn't find him. And then there was all these people, and I finally found his name on a classroom. And then he went in there, and that was supposed to be his homeroom. And then I went through some papers, and there was a whole schedule for him that had nothing to do with EC or anything. I was like, that's weird. There's like science and PE and like a homeroom, like, and I sat down. And they were like, oh, if you haven't found your kid, go back to the auditorium where you just came from, which took me freaking 20 minutes to get there. So I went back and I found him, and then he was there. So we went back there and went through this whole
20 minutes, you say?
Yeah, it took me 20 minutes because the entire school was in one hallway. It was so...
It must have felt like a really long time.
Like, it was, like, so unorganized. And as soon as I got back there, we listened to some sort of thing about her, and he was seeing all these books. And she was like, "Oh man, he was like, there's Stranger Things books, there's Fortnite books," and I'm like, "That's cool, Aiden." But I'm trying to figure out what's going on here. And
books are like all over the place.
Yeah, yeah, they really were. And then
crazy.
And I was like, I thought he was
school.
I thought he was in like an EC classroom. She's like, yeah, he is. Go talk to them in this room. And I went in there, and they were kind of confused on what's going on. And then they were like, oh, I think he's in Miss Hennon's class.
I'm kind of confused about what's going on.
So two things real quick, Chase. Yeah. I want to interject. There's two things that your story is really stirring in my brain. One, there's nothing worse than losing track of your child.
Yeah.
For real. Yeah. Genuinely losing track of your child. Two, Fortnite has no right to make any kind of books. Is that not the dumbest thing ever? Because the people that are interested in Fortnite, they're not going to read a book.
But it's
why do they do that?
It's like Bob the Builder with guns.
Ninja just published a book called Get Good.
Still not going to read a book. It doesn't matter what you do.
But yeah, and when we got there, and she was like, "Oh yeah, throw all that stuff away." I was like, "So wait a minute." So
Is this the girl that got into the back of your car in the gas station?
This is his actual teacher. And I was like, well, why is he on all this schedule stuff? So apparently they had him set up with a homeroom teacher in his whole schedule.
Sir, you're in the wrong school altogether.
And they think they are.
You need to go over to the West Side.
And and that teacher thought he was in her class. So he's literally in two different classes at the same time. So on Monday, and this is like, it starts on Monday. So if on Monday he's like absent in all these classes as he's not even supposed to be at, I'm going to be pissed. And, I don't know. I've never seen a school so disorganized. And we didn't even want him to go there. They were like, we had set up in the IEP for him to go to the other school. Never happened. And they were like, oh, now it's too late. He's got to go to the other school because he's in district. Oh, man.
So what you're saying is it's Amber's fault.
No.
Nope, it's too late. You already paused way too long. You're done.
You just blamed all that on your wife. She's going to hear this.
You are in all the trouble when she hears it. You're in all the trouble.
There's a thing called truncate silence, which we do.
Well, yeah. Well, that. What if she watches the stream though?
Oh goodness.
Sorry, Amber. We don't think it's your fault. Chase thinks it's your fault.
Amber, it's totally Chase's fault.
Yeah.
Hey, speaking of losing kids, so I'm in Target one day, and we got to grab two things. One's in frozen foods, and one's in like chilled foods. So like waffles and milk, right? So I've got my girl who's probably 6 at the time, and my boy who's probably 3.5 or 4 at the time. So I'm like, come on, let's go. So we're booking through Target. I grab my waffles. I'm like, all right, let's go get milk. So I book it around the next aisle, and they're right behind me. I grab milk, and I'm like, where is my 4-year-old? And my daughter's like,
wait, did he gain 6 months in this story? Because he was 3.5 earlier.
Well, I was rounding up, but I mean, if you want to get technical,
I'm sorry, I couldn't resist.
Where is my 3.65-year-old?
There you go. Okay,
is exactly what I asked her, and she's like, "Oh, he was right behind me a second ago." So I'm like, "All right, you go that way, I'll go this way." So we scour the frozen food and granola aisles, for him. We're not seeing the kid, and I'm hearing all these stories of like kids getting snatched up. Mm-hmm. And trafficked all over the place and stuff, and so I'm like freaking out.
All the old people know that old movie. I Know My Name is Steven. Like, yo, that was some real stuff when I was young. Like, old people know that. It was like a mini series used to come on all the time, like every year, about a boy who gets kidnapped. Go ahead.
Anywho, so at this point, we reconvene and still no sign of him, and so I grab the nearest red shirt Target employee, and I'm like, hey, you gotta call the code or whatever. So they code yellow, and my 3.65-year-old had migrated from frozen foods all the way across Target into the toy section and was just like checking out them toys.
Priorities.
So we found them, but yeah, it was definitely a scary situation of like, did somebody just snatch my kid up?
Yeah, I've had a similar experience. I think it was my first year in Brazil, and we were at a mall. And so pretty much how it rolls is that when it's the 4 of us, my wife and my 2 kids, my wife just takes care of the looking through the clothes, picking them out, buying them. And I am just like, I just play with the kids. Like I run the fun show, and my wife is the responsible one. So I'm playing hide and seek with my kids. And at the time, I think my son was 3 also. We'll just say 3.65, like your son.
Okay.
And my daughter was 6, I think, 6 years old.
6 point
and
what?
So
it was on her birthday?
It was right on her birthday. No, she's 6.13. So my son and he had trouble hiding. Like my daughter was really good at it. She would get in the middle of the racks, surrounded by the clothes, and then my son had trouble
Splash rack.
Yeah. And No, not the Spice Rack Girls section. And my son, of course, he would like find the bra section or find. I mean, he's a guy. So.
He's like, Daddy will never look here.
Yeah, exactly. And we're playing hide and seek for like 15 minutes. Well, my son was having a real hard time, so I was trying to coach him through hide and seek and the best, the tips and tricks and stuff. All of a sudden, I find him, but I cannot find my daughter. And 5 minutes pass. I still cannot find my daughter. And luckily, my wife is in the line, the checkout line. It was really long. And I'm like, okay, I just have to find her before Mindy gets out and with the clothes bought and all that stuff. And so I'm searching. And she comes, and I'm like, so good news is I found my son in hide and seek. Bad news is I can't find our daughter. And she's like, what? This is our first year.
The other bad news is we're not in the United States.
Yeah, exactly. So the first thing she goes to is the kidnapping stuff, and we're in another country, and blah, 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 blah. And
you should have said the good news is our daughter's really good at hide and seek.
Yeah, I guess that's one way to look at it.
No, she's really good.
She's really good.
Like, we literally haven't found her. It's been 4 years.
Yeah, she's now 10.16. But then another few minutes pass, and it feels like it's been an hour. And all of a sudden, I look at the very front of the store. This is a type of store where they made it super long. Like, I don't know why. They didn't make it a square. They made it a super long rectangle. Like, and I look, and I can see her running at the very front of the store. Like, just playing, hanging out, jumping on stuff, whatever. And my heart just, like, returned from wherever it went. And I finally came back, and I was like, thank you, Jesus. My daughter has not been kidnapped. But it is, man, when you think
there's that moment of panic, and it's on like a parabolic exponential scale of like, all right, I'm going to see him any second now. Okay, I'm still not seeing him. Okay, now it's time to freak out.
Yeah, you hit this moment where you're like, I'm in a Lifetime movie. What have I done? They're going to be showing this in 10 years on Lifetime.
I've never really had that with like my daughter. I did
stuck to hide and seek. That's why.
No, because we don't play like that. We don't play like that. When we in the store, I have to give her the speech. Like, I ain't buying you nothing. Don't touch nothing. Don't ask me about nothing. We are going to get waffles and milk. If it ain't about waffles and it ain't about milk, it ain't about us. I need you to stay in right here at all times, or it's about to be some problems. That type of thing. Like, we got to have that conversation.
Make good old waffle milk.
Yeah, because I know how I was as a kid. Like, and my little sister, like, one time we went to the store and we got the speech before we went to the store, and we left the store, and my sister just happened to have some Rolos. It's just like, I guess she ordered some Rolos that day, and like, we sat down in the car, and she's ripping apart them Rolos. She's about to be about that life. It's like, where you get the Rolos from? Because I know when she told her she won't buy us nothing, like, and I was almost upset, like. She ain't get me nothing. I ain't get no Rolos. Like, what's going on here? She was just like, man.
And then you're like, she's stealing.
Bruh, my daughter almost had me killed.
I remember that story.
Do you know, I talked to my daughter about the he's stealing story, and she did not remember that at all. She did not remember that at all. For those that haven't been around for very long, I was in Baltimore to visit my child. I used to stay up there for weekends, and I went to go buy some cookies. I bought all of the cookies that were in the box. They asked me, did I want a bag? And I'm like, nah, cause I got the box. So we walk out, and she is questioning the fact that I don't have a bag. And this is Baltimore right after the riots. Where the police was just like really about that life. And my daughter was not having the fact that I didn't have a bag for these cookies. So she just started yelling right when we walked outside.
Oh no.
He's stealing. And do you understand the panic that I was in as a black man right after the riots? That when all the white people were talking about the CVS that burnt down, not talking about the people that got killed, but like talking about the CVS that burnt down, and like the police is all about that life, and I'm just kind of like, she's screaming at the top of her lungs, he's stealing, and I'm like, child, I just bought these cookies, I just kept the box, like what is going on here? Like the panic. And she didn't remember that story at all. Like,
wow.
no.
And if you tried to, like, shush her or keep her quiet, it would make you look more worse.
Right. Like, I'm just like, yo, this is my receipt. It shows that I bought, like, like trying to reason with a child. Like, this is my receipt. It shows that I paid for this. Like, and I didn't want to like put my hand over her mouth, but I was like, this is close. But yeah, she didn't remember that at all. But, I didn't have one of those. I did have a scare one time with my grandma. I lived with my grandma for a little bit, and, I had left and I was gone, and my grandma, she lost one of her legs, so she had a prosthetic. And she got to the point to where she would use her walker to get back and forth from her bedroom to the living room and then sit down in the wheelchair and go around from there. Well, apparently she was trained that if she couldn't quite get all the way up, just go down to the ground and you'll be all right. Well, one day I come home and my grandma is laying face down in the floor, not moving.
Jeez.
What?
Right when I walk in the door, she is face down on the floor, and my heart just dropped. I was just like, oh no. And then just turns out she was down there for a while, so she just went to sleep. So I don't know how long it was, but apparently she went to try to get up. She couldn't quite make it all the way up, so she just did what they told her to do and made it down to the ground. She was just laying there asleep. But that moment was like the just until I realized that she was laying there snoring. Like that first, like I opened the door, she's laying right there, just not moving at all. That was crazy. Real crazy.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I can see that.
Yeah, I want to talk about some video games real quick.
Sure.
Let's do that. There's a video game that I want to play. It's an indie football game called Maximum Football. I think it was the last year's version was called like Doug Flutie's Maximum Football.
Is that what you guys are talking about in Discord?
Yes. It is. It looks like they are going for an NCAA 14 type feel.
Nice.
But they have like 130 teams all made up, but with like crazy amounts of customization and all that kind of stuff. And it looks like it might be a cool little game. It made me really want to play some NCAA 14. So I hopped on my NCAA 14 for a little bit, and that was cool. I played a crap ton of RimWorld. Like really, I played a lot of RimWorld. Like I went through some stuff. I started losing people, and a whole bunch of stuff just kept happening because I changed the storyteller on the game to Randy Random, and Randy is an asshole. Like,
Randy.
Randy's an asshole. But like I was able to recover and like things are okay, but like now I'm always on guard for whatever Randy's getting ready to throw at me.
Now, what style of game is RimWorld again? You talked about it last week.
It is a
base builder.
It's a hybrid. It's kind of like a base builder, people management. There's some RTS type things in it. Like it's like all of those things in one, and it's all made by.
You talk about it, and it makes me think of Darkest Dungeon. Is it anything like that, or is that different?
Darkest Dungeon, is that like a side scroller?
It's a side scroller, but it's an RTS side scroller. Like, you have to fight with like your front dude. You got like a line of people, but if you haven't played that, then that I haven't even played it. I just know about it.
It's closer to like
Is it like Stranger Things on Netflix?
Yes, it's exactly like Stranger Things on Netflix.
Gotcha.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
I don't know where you was going with that.
My coworker just really got into Stranger Things, and I haven't seen it yet. And he is so eager to try to spoil everything. Like Blue would hate him. Like Blue would hate him so much. But yeah. And then I played some more live NBA Live. I played some more NBA Live. I'm kind of upset because that got delayed, and the stuff that I've seen from 2K actually looks pretty cool. especially the career mode and story mode. It actually looks pretty stinking cool, but I don't want to pay extra. Like if I buy a game, I want to just play the game, and I don't want to feel like I'm forced to pay anything extra just so my player could actually like do anything. But that looks kind of cool. And I even watched one of the gentlemen that I follow on YouTube. He went to an event where he played through the career mode in FIFA. Now I don't know very much about soccer at all. It's not really my thing.
It's all good.
I don't. You don't live in Brazil. You're not expected to know these things.
Yeah, I mean,
right.
You use your foot on the ball. It's self-explanatory name for a game.
Yeah, but there's a mode. It's called like the Volta mode or something like that, and it's basically street. It's basically like street ball for soccer.
Yeah.
And it actually looks pretty cool. And like I pretty much watched almost every episode of the story mode so far. So like I don't really have to play the game because I watched somebody else do it. But it actually looks pretty cool. And like I like how EA has been doing their story modes.
Yeah.
And I really dig that. I mean, even including the long shot stuff for Madden. I just kind of dig that whole thing. But like this is for FIFA, and like I'm like, if I actually knew how to play a soccer game, I would totally play the Volta mode.
I mean, I think you could do it. It's not like if you can play Madden or you can play games that have complicated rules. I mean, nothing against soccer, but it's not that complicated. You know, once you go through some of the little tutorials or just kind of feel out the game, it's just like a game. If you're a gamer, if you play a lot of games, you can just figure it out. You might enjoy it. I mean, the mode you're talking about sounds interesting. I just don't like when I watch people play FIFA. Like, of course, I'm in Brazil, and everybody and their brother and mother and cousin and sister plays FIFA. I don't find it that interesting because they zoom it out so much. It's just this big green field, and you have these little characters just running around, and I mean, it looks real. Like sometimes I can't tell the difference between like real FIFA, real soccer being played, and the game FIFA being played. So I will say the graphics are nice on it, but it's not my deal. But you'd be able to figure it out if you liked it, thought it was interesting.
Yeah,
I like that. I like that FIFA Underground thing too. That idea of doing the street soccer.
Yeah, I really dug that, and like there's this whole story about like there was this street crew that was getting together and they were trying to go to the World Championships. Something happens and the whole team breaks up, and like you go to all of these different places around the world and you kind of start putting your team back together or getting new players and all this kind of like weird stuff before you get back to the championship, and like you're just this guy who just happened to be there, which is weird because you start off as a girl. You do the first little match, and then you
it's very modern,
and then you change your character from there. Like you design your character after the first game, which is super weird because you start off as a chick. But it was actually pretty cool. I have EA access. I think I would actually try it for my little 10 hours for the EA access.
Yeah, I've been tempted to play EA access now that it's come to, or get EA access now that it's come to PS4. But I've heard the list is significantly smaller for what's available.
Because y'all don't have backwards compatibility.
Oh, that's right.
So they have all of the old stuff that they have in there that y'all ain't got no access to. And my problem with that is, when I played my NBA Live, I bought another copy for the PlayStation when it was on sale for like $6 or something. But the idea that you're giving me less and you're charging me the same, no sale. No sale for your why.
That's how I feel too.
So, but I really like EA access because there's a few games, that I would have never played if it wasn't for EA access, or things that I would have never tried. I would have never tried NBA Live because NBA Live kind of went away for a little while because
and it was kind of jank when it came back for the first few years.
When it first came back, but last year's game and this one were actually pretty decent. So,
well, Meef's got to head out. You want him to say his goodbyes and?
I thought he just said he said
he got to pee.
Oh, okay.
BRB.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Who's going next?
Let's go with Meef, since he's got a P.
Oh, that's a great choice. Meef?
I'm
what
pretty
game are you
sure,
playing right now?
I'm pretty sure he left to go pee.
I know that was the joke, Scar. Now you explained the joke, so now everyone's like, it's not funny anymore.
It wasn't funny to begin with. You're not funny.
Tell me how you feel, Scar. I'll write it on my grave. Well, anyway.
Man, forget Chase. What are you playing?
I feel so terrible. I'm not playing anything. It stinks. So
You're playing
because of my travels, but I can still talk about video games. I mean, I've played a little bit of Exploding Kittens over the past few weeks.
Exploding Kittens?
Oh yeah, have you ever heard of that? It's a board game.
No.
It's a card game, to be more specific.
Okay.
So pretty much it's like Russian roulette with cards, and the bullet is an exploding kitten card. And you pretty much, however many people you play with, you just do that number of exploding kitten cards -1. And then in the deck, you also have other cards you can use to skip your turn, to hold on to exploding kitten without penalty, and do all this kind of stuff. And it's a pretty fun party game. If you get just the base version, it's very much just luck-based. But if you get the expansion packs to it, which would probably cost you around, altogether, you could get the original plus the 2 expansion packs for, nowadays, you could probably do it for $30, $35 with sales and stuff if you find the right place. But it can be a little strategic. It can be fun. It can be a little nerve-wracking when you don't know if you're going to pick up the exploding kitten. But that's the only gaming I've been really doing, is playing exploding kittens. With I took it with me on this last mission trip that I went on for 3 weeks with a group of California kids in college. And but I will say that I'm a little ashamed because I brought my Vita with me from Brazil, and I haven't really played it. I have it, and that's nothing against the Vita. I really like the Vita. I haven't been feeling it. I did bring my Nintendo Classic, and I've played that a little bit over the past month.
They got you with the Classic.
What do you mean they got me?
Because
he said Nintendo Classic, not PlayStation Classic.
No, I think all of these classics are a hustle. It's all a hustle.
I mean, they kind of are, yeah. But
unless you have one that still works from 1983.
Yeah, I don't.
How was your pee, Meef?
It went great. Thanks for asking.
Yeah, Meef.
You're welcome.
When you left, he totally was like, "Hey, Scar, you want to say goodbye to Meef because he's leaving." Bye, Meef. Hope you find your dad in the toilet because you're peeing.
Good luck with your dad.
So, anyways, but
So, what do you like playing on your Vita?
So Vita, usually I hop back and forth between. So I've been in the past a trophy hunter, as in I play for trophies, like those dumb digital trophies, get platinums, get little. I like the little dingy sound it makes, and so half the time I play video games for that, and then the other half the time it's a mix of playing, just having something to play when the kids are using the TV, or I try to think, like lately I've been just playing. I've been having a year where I'm trying to hit my backlog and not buy new games. So any game I spent money on this year, I've been trying to play it. So recently I played Bard's Gold, which is like a roguelike. I don't know if you guys have played Rogue Legacy or.
Mm-hmm. I've heard of them.
I'm trying to think of another roguelike that would be popular. I mean, a more popular one right now has been Dead Cells, I think, is a roguelike.
That's the only one I'm kind of interested in.
Rashani loves Dead Cells.
Those are really fun. Like, I really like the roguelike. So I played it for a little bit. It's not really like, it's not fast. Like, I like kind of reflex kind of controlled games where.
Have you played Crypt of the Necrodancer?
No, but I've heard about it, and I'd like to play it.
You would dig that one, and they also did a Zelda. The same people that made Crypt of the Necrodancer did a Zelda version of it also. So you're linked.
Did they?
Yeah, so.
Nice.
I don't know the name of it, but you'll figure it out.
That's cool.
I'm not sure if this game's on Vita, which I'm pretty sure it's probably not. But there's a game, it's not a roguelike, but with the twitch reflexes and whatnot, there's a game called Katana Zero. And that game is excellent.
I don't recall that one being on Vita, but
yeah, it's really good.
I like ninjas. I like ninja stuff.
If you like ninjas, One Finger Death Punch is a fun one also.
Oh, okay. I've heard of that one. I haven't played that one. I'll have to check that out.
But, as long as it's not 5-finger death punch, because they suck.
It's not.
It's not. But besides that, I'm actually the other gaming information I can share is the games I look forward to playing when I return to Brazil and to my PS4. I just recently purchased, and now granted, I am a backlog gamer and a very cheap gamer, so I do not buy new games. But I don't
know if you've heard of this, but it's this game called Super Mario World.
Yes, I finally got to play it. No,
it just came out in the Zill.
As Scar would say,
I waited just long enough, and I am finally going to play Pong.
I'm ready. No spoilers.
he waited for a Nintendo sale, which would be probably 20 years.
Well, that's never going to happen. Never going to happen. But yeah, as Scar would say, I got hustled, and I also bought the Super Nintendo Classic. So I have both the Nintendo Classics and the Nintendo is Super. But I got Shadow of War, Titanfall 2. You guys talked about Mass Effect Andromeda, and I got that one too. I'm going to go back and I think 5 years ago or 4 years ago, I bought the Mass Effect trilogy on PS3. So I'm going to go back and play all 4 of those probably. I love those games. I've only played through them once. So
slacker.
I did my. I know. When you said you played through it 13 times, I was like, what? 13 times.
The first 2. I played 3 about 7-ish.
Yeah.
7-ish times, and then
7.65.
Andromeda I played about 2.5.
You know how many, if you played them on Steam that much, how much people would see how many hours you put into Mass Effect?
No, if you want to see my the games I played on Steam the longest, look at my RimWorld and Prison Architect. I got over 200 hours each in those.
My most played Steam game is this one called You Need a Budget 4.0.
You know what? I see that all the time, and then when I go to hey, what is that? There's we ain't got that no more.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I have currently 273 hours in RimWorld, and Prison Architect I have 208.
I'm about to end this man's whole career. I have 4,105 hours, and you need a budget for.
But that's not a game.
What?
It's not a game, though. It's a tool.
It is a game. It's the money game, playa. Talking about this money.
that I'm about to end this man's whole career. That was perfect placement.
4,000 hours. Can't compete with that. But other than that, I look forward to playing a bunch of games when I get back. But as of right now, I'm probably gonna. Now that I've talked about it, I'm I got to get that Vita out and start chipping away at some of the games that I want to play. So, yeah.
I think there's only really one game that I'm excited about that's about to come out, and that's Borderlands.
Yeah, I do look forward to. I think I just got when I traveled. When I left Brazil for the first week or two of my my whatever it's called, my trip to
job
for my job, Borderlands: The Handsome Jack Collection came out on PS Plus, and I was like, yes, I'm gonna be playing that when I get back. So, yeah,
you know that came out right when I let my PS Plus lapse, so I don't think I have it. Which sucks because I was like, yo, I'm gonna play a game. I'm gonna play a game on and I'm gonna stream it. It's because we were just talking about streaming on Twitter, and I was just like, I'm gonna stream from my PlayStation. I'm gonna play some Killing Floor. Nope, I forgot I let my PSN Plus lapse.
Yeah,
I let mine too.
Not that I don't have it on the 2 other platforms, but the PlayStation is where I can stream to YouTube,
and the PlayStation is where it plays the best. Because on the PC, it plays great on PC. It's just getting into it.
Yes,
that's the hard part.
Yes, absolutely. All right, Meef, what you got? What you been playing, dog?
Okay, so I've been on that Destiny grind, and
again.
Yeah, well, not again, but for a while now. Games like Borderlands, I find myself like if I grab them, I either get behind and then like, oh, well, I'm on a different story mission than you are. Or I'm on a different this, that, and the other. And so I find myself just playing those solo. And Destiny 2 is a game that if I'm going to play it, like I got time, I can either play it solo or I can play it with, my friends. I'm in a really good Destiny clan called El Resto. And so we can do raids, Nightfalls, Crucible, Iron Banner, whatever the activity of the week is and that sort of thing. They've got this event going on called Solstice of Heroes or some mess. So I've been working on that. And they're about to come out with this expansion called Shadowkeep, which just adds more content to the game that I'm already playing. So I will probably pick that up, but really that's the only thing like on my horizon as far as a future purchase. Everything else is like backlog stuff. I still got Andromeda to get around to. I still got to get back to Red Dead 2. I still got to finish the Tomb Raider before last and then start the last Tomb Raider that I got in an Extra Life giveaway a year ago from Sean Evans, from the OMG Hour.
The Tomb Raider before last is amazing. Such a good game.
Yeah, and like the DLC for that went on sale, and like I snagged that because Holy Headshot was like, dude, the DLC is legit, and so I've got it there. It's just a matter of a lot of times when I find myself like, oh, kids are in bed, like I got 2 hours. It's like, well, I can either get the dust off of this Skyrim or Red Dead game that I've completely forgotten how to play at this point. Or I can fire up Destiny 2 and then knock out a few, things. So, Destiny 2 has been keeping me busy for the most part. But, when I'm not doing that, like if the kiddos are, all up in my business, heck, we'll fire up the Switch. We'll do some, Mario Odyssey, some Smash, stuff like that. You guys
still on that Rayman?
We pretty much exhausted. We exhausted that one.
Which one? Legends or Origin?
We did Legends and got every achievement except the one where you couldn't even really get it unless you played at the beginning because it was kind of like a competitive type thing. And since no one was still playing the game.
Oh, is it the online one where you have to get a little final level of awesomeness?
Yeah, exactly. That's the one.
I've done that twice.
Well, congrats. You're better than me or something.
I don't know about that.
He's saying it's doable, man.
You could hear the middle finger in his voice. Like, I'm glad he doesn't have a camera because he's like,
I'm not getting the full effect,
bitch. Like, you can hear the middle finger in his voice. Like, you did that? Fuck you.
Good for you. No, man, but it really comes down to just.
He's Southern. He was this close to saying "bless your heart."
Give that thumbs up. No, but seriously, I understand where you're coming from with that, but you've played so much to this point. But it really, like, I just played in the background. Like, it usually takes 5 to 10 minutes every day for like 3 months.
I'm not gonna do that.
Just play, yeah, and no, it's a lot, but yeah, once you get a rhythm going, it's not that bad. But
yeah, and like lately, I have historically hated Destiny 2 competitive mode, but in the last week or so, I'm like, I'm just going to say to heck with it and, go in solo. If I win, I win. If I lose, I lose. Work on some of the pinnacle quests for some of the like specialized weapons you can do. And it's pretty much been like win 1, lose 1, win 2, lose 1, win 1, lose 2. I mean, so it's kind of balanced out. But I've been having fun with it because it's something that I haven't really done much of in the past. And it's better than a lot of the grindy stuff that you have to do in there, like going to the Dreaming City and doing stupid bounties and stuff. So
it's a good thing to have homies. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It is. And
that's how I thought about Division.
Well, there's a lot of people that, say, I've never done a Destiny 2 raid. And it's like, well, I'm in a clan where we're like, hey, we'll set up a event on Friday, and if you want to do a raid, we'll get you through one. So,
and it's cool to have like people that want to do a raid, that know what they're doing, but also don't take it so seriously to where if you're not good at it or you don't know what you're doing, that they will be supportive. And I had that during the summer after Taken King come out. I had a group and we would go through the raid pretty much every week, and they would always bring in new people. They were really good at it, but they also were like, it's just a game, and that was a super fun time for Destiny. For me.
I want to see Scar and Chase do a raid together.
I have only attempted one raid in Destiny ever. In any Destiny.
That might change, man, because Destiny 2 is going to become free to play. I just synced. I'm actually kind of getting ready to work for Shadowkeep.
Did you just say synced?
Yeah, you can get. I got my.
It's cross save, Scar.
Yeah, cross save. You go.
I thought he said he synced, not synced. Okay, all right. I thought he synced. I synced it.
Yeah. I didn't say synced. But yeah, you go online and you sync all your stuff together. And I picked my PlayStation characters since that's the ones that has the most
progress
levels. And, progress. And so that's my characters for PC, Xbox, and PlayStation. And I'm pretty excited.
Yeah, and I did the same thing because I have the game on PC, and I did not buy the expansions on PC because I'm trying to save some money up in here.
But the cool thing about that is I have the progress on my PlayStation accounts, and I played a little bit on PC just to see. I'm still level 36 because I pretty much stopped after Forsaken a little bit, and I was still level 36. So they didn't take away progress, even though I'm not really supposed to have that progress, not having Forsaken, and they didn't take away any of my weapons. It's just I can't gain anymore until I buy Forsaken.
No, I hear you. And that's what I'll probably do with...
That's cool that they don't take it away,
Yeah, and that's what I'll probably do with Shadowkeep is, buy it on Xbox and then just use my PC to kind of do vanilla stuff, if you will.
And I believe that if you want to go into Shadowkeep, unless you really want to play through Forsaken, you don't have to have Forsaken to play Shadowkeep, which is a change from how they used to do.
I stopped playing the game right before the first DLC, so I have no idea what y'all talking about.
That's fine. I didn't, because
but you remember how you couldn't play Forsaken unless you got the other 2 expansions as well. But this time around, they said, you can play Shadowkeep without having those expansions. So it's cool.
Yeah. So, it's for some people, it's not for others. So if you like Destiny 2.
I didn't finish the first level.
I enjoyed it.
Or mission, I guess.
I enjoyed Destiny. I enjoyed a lot of Destiny 2 when it first came out. I played a lot. I leveled up 2 characters, was on my way to leveling up a 3rd, but I absolutely hate being a hunter. I can't stand it. I hate it. It's warlock supremacy around this joint.
I hear you.
Me too. That's one thing me and Scar agree on.
Yes, warlock supremacy. And it gotta be something real because I'm black and I don't say the word supremacy very easily. It's not a word I use. But I'm about that warlock life. But I enjoyed it quite a bit, but I don't know if I ever will go back, even with all of these changes. I don't know if I really want to go back.
Yeah, and I don't know that a lot of people will. I think the people that are in. I think the thing they're doing with New Light, making it free to play, will bring some people in. But, like I said, I got my community, so I'm good.
How that game plays is for a lot of people. It's just that all the stuff that Activision was doing turned a lot of people off, and everybody's sour on it. But that game is really for a lot of people.
The problem was, it was just a small minority just doing the loudest complaining. The game wasn't even that bad.
Yeah.
It was not bad at all.
That's how it always is, man. Because the people that love Destiny, or people that love...
Chase.
What?
We gotta move on. What you been playing? Be really quick, because we got another show tomorrow.
He steps all over my soapbox that someday he's going to slip and fall.
You got a whole nother show tomorrow, dude.
Yeah, but we'll just let the guests talk on that. So, well, I haven't really been playing too much, man. I've been really super busy with all this stuff going on, getting school started and whatnot. But I was like, man, you know what? I'm gonna do this. I booted up Persona 4, played through that a little bit just on my downtime.
Can you play through that just a little bit? Like, doesn't that?
Yeah, that's what I wondered too. You're like, I just played through a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I guess if you're in a dungeon or whatever, you can't
to the menu music. No, turn it off.
5 steps.
I mean, I guess if you're like in a dungeon or something, it can be a time sink. But if you're just like out in the regular world, like working on like live stuff, you can just go through a day or two and just turn it off because you can pretty much save
an actual day, like real time, 24 hours.
Yeah, you guys suck.
Yep.
But yeah, there's your game to play on the Vita that isn't a time sink, Persona 4 Golden.
That's what I've heard, but I've heard that also does not agree with trying to be a good parent and everything else in life because it takes a long time.
That's what you heard about World of Warcraft.
Yeah, I quit playing MMORPGs after EverQuest because otherwise
and now you're playing
get married.
And now you're playing Destiny, so
it's different though.
Is it really?
Yes, it is.
You guys are really, that's some hardcore arguing you guys are doing right now. Passive aggressive arguing.
That's how I roll, man. But
hey,
yeah,
speaking of passive aggressive real quick.
Passing the aggressive.
Shout out to all the OFR fantasy football folks. Cause, I had to draft at number 8 today, but I did all right. So, that was a fun deal with those guys, but I ended up with Lev Bell, Kels, Freeman, Baker Mayfield, and some other folks. So it'll be a fun league this year.
You're typically pretty good at that, right?
I didn't win the OFR league last year, but I did win the Il Resto league last year, and that's a money league. So I actually made some cash off of that one.
Nice.
Word up.
But yeah, it's just a fun thing to do.
Yeah.
It's not video games, but at the same time, it's kind of video games because
it's a game
on a computer.
It's like football, but for nerds.
And it gives you a reason to actually watch the games on Sunday because what the heck do I care about the Miami Dolphins or whoever?
What the heck does anybody care about the Miami Dolphins?
Exactly.
But I did watch something. I watched this movie on Netflix called
Don't they got Fitzmagic this year though?
I don't know, Scar. I watched a movie on Netflix called How It Ends. And I don't really consider it a great movie, but like there is a lot that I think is a problem with that movie. But the relationship between the father-in-law and the son-in-law is probably about the best part about that movie. It's kind of like a road trip movie, but set in the middle. It's not post-apocalyptic. It's kind of
pre-apocalyptic.
What are our options?
No, it's not pre-apocalyptic.
Mid-apocalyptic.
Yes, mid-apocalyptic.
Okay.
But because there's just weird stuff like it would be like day 5, and like there's like motorcycle gangs trying to kill you. I'm like, the power just went out. We've been out with power longer than 5 days, and you guys are already like looting with motorcycles and freaking killing people. What's going on? It's not the power's out.
Well, we've had enough post-apocalyptic movies in life that I'm pretty sure that if it really happens, people are going to be like, it's Mad Max time. They're just like going to go straight to living it in real life. It's not going to take long.
But tire tread, shoulder pads. You know what I'm saying?
For sure, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
But in that movie,
like
something happens.
With a purpose.
In that movie, something happens on the West Coast, which pretty much cuts all the power off over the whole United States and I guess the world. But
the coast or the West Coast?
The West Coast.
Gotcha.
And so like literally, all these people know is that the power is out, and they're already like having Mad Max gangs. So I'm like, really? It's been 5 days. We've had longer without the power during the hurricane. Come on, guys. Or
power the electricity or power like the TV show?
Yeah. Oh yeah. They have electricity. They just can't watch power.
Yeah, like we lost.
That's some real.
We lost our Star Series.
That's some apocalyptic type stuff. Right
exactly.
There,
that's what I'm saying.
That's real, bro. Like, I just reactivated my stars last night just so I can make sure I catch the power.
Yeah, you're keeping this world moving.
That's right.
You're keeping this world powered.
Get it? Because power is the name. See what Chase did there?
I'm done with Chase for the day.
Because power the show and power
with an ED, same but different.
Yeah, it's just
no,
it's power.edu.
Chase, stop it. Wrap up the show. Wrap this up, dog.
I can't wrap up something digital. It's not a sandwich.
Christmas is here. Christmas is here.
All right. You guys can catch us in the Discord.
But I'm not a rapper.
And he's not a rapper. But in the show notes, you guys should join the Discord, because the Discord is where it's popping. We've been talking about all kinds of shit in there. Like how to watch football.
Power.
What? You have to tell people how to watch football.
Yeah.
You leave your eyes open and
step one,
watch.
Yeah, the joke is that our Discord isn't really happening, but it needs to be, because we cool people in there.
Chase,
what?
Aren't you supposed to give them the opportunity to plug their places and things before you plug yours?
I will after I talk about the Discord, because it's important.
I will once you remind me of it.
I will after I call you a... What's up, Lucas? Where can we find you, man?
You were about to say the N-word, Chase. Give me a break. You're better than that.
He is from North Carolina.
I was going to say Dick, but I didn't want to offend Meef.
Oh my goodness!
Because I know
say it.
He's one of those PC crowd people.
For real?
Is Meef? Is that true, Meef? You're PC crowd people?
He's the PC police.
I'll let Scar answer that. He knows what I'm about.
Meef is my spirit animal. Like we think the same, but I'm the only one that's going to be willing to say it. So I wouldn't say that he's PC police at all. I'm just the only person that's willing to say it out of the two of us. That's why I could hear his middle finger just a while ago.
Yeah, I said it before. Scar's my anger translator. So
absolutely, that's how we do this.
I can see that.
So, Mr. Ham's Beer, where can we find you?
Ham Spear, like Shakespeare?
Yeah.
That's a first. I've never had that one before. I've had the Great Hambino. What else?
Great Hambino's not.
Yeah, I mean,
it's ganked from Sandlot, but okay.
I mean, yeah.
Well, I went with that, but it was Ham's Beer because Ham's is a really shitty beer up in around like Kentucky.
That they sell at Sheetz.
Is Kentucky up? Is Kentucky up from where you live? Isn't it more over?
It's over and up.
Over in Kentucky, is it? Is that how geography works?
Yeah, things
You're
can
in Kakalaki.
Yeah, we're kind of mid.
Kentucky's more over.
I mean, Meef is more southern than I am. He's like...
Gar, I'm sorry. I'm like feeding into...
I think Brazil's more southern than any of us.
That's correct. So I always say up.
Meef down there where they celebrate their Confederate, dissipation trophies and all, man.
But see, here's the thing. I have been to Alabama, and the only time I saw a Confederate flag was on the back of a truck with Virginia plates.
So what you're saying is there's a reason West Virginia split off from Virginia.
Correct.
That's all I'm saying.
Correct.
So to answer Chase's question, if you do Twitter, you can find me at MTTG Brazil Team. I'm a fan of Married to the Games podcast, and that was definitely an inspiration for the other handle that I am active on, and that is at the GMG podcast. Very much like you guys, the Good Morning Guys is just about conversation. We do usually bring a topic to the show, sometimes serious, sometimes funny. It varies. We've talked about everything from death to just positivity to controversy, like what kind of Pop-Tarts you like to eat. And but
a lot less F word.
Right. It does.
I don't know.
I
mean, when you start talking about Pop-Tart flavors, that's
a real divisive topic.
Yeah.
Yeah. it's layered. It's the flavor. It's the brand.
I'm gonna tell you,
or no icing.
How divisive the icing, no icing thing is a huge thing for me at work. Like a huge thing, because I have a coworker that is like severely anti-icing.
How?
They're gonna have to go.
Is he a communist?
She's probably a communist because she doesn't like candy corn either. And if you don't like candy corn, you are a communist.
I don't dislike candy corn. Is that okay?
You commie.
But I don't dislike it. I just don't.
I only like certain colors of the candy corn.
So you bite off a part of it and then you get rid of the rest.
Exactly. I eat them in thirds.
Tell me you eat the middle part and you spit out the top and bottom.
It's actually the other way around.
So you bite the head eat them like sunflower seeds.
Like a sweet sunflower seed. But yeah, so those are my Twitter handles that you can find me on if you want to chat. And I talk about, on our Discord, we love to talk about dad jokes and just talk about life. So it's all about it. We're with you in just having conversations and such. It's good. It's good.
And fake news.
Yes, that is correct. But that's not me. I'm not the fake news guy. That's Patrick, another member of our podcast. And I think my connection, if I'm getting this right, Chase.
Is he a trumpet?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, he's just, on the show, he's known as the executioner of fake news because he just likes to say fake news at random times.
Okay.
Yeah. No, we don't get that political. I don't think we've talked yet very much about Trump. So I've talked about Trump more on the Delvin Cox Experience, which is one of the podcasts I've guested on twice.
Word up.
Word up.
Delvin Cox is good people.
Yeah, he is. For sure.
Except for like when he was on with us, was that a week ago?
Yeah.
Yeah, his microphone kept stopped working.
Yeah, he sometimes has microphone issues. I don't know what it is. He has a nice microphone. I don't know. Maybe it's his internet.
Word.
So, yeah, Chase, our connection, when you wrote me last week, is our connection through Future Monkeys?
Yes.
Right?
Yeah, because
you're on the Future Monkey Discord.
You were on the you won their little contest or whatever.
Yes.
Because I kept saying hashtag rigged. And nobody would say anything. I was like, maybe they're taking it seriously. I'm not being serious. But I think they do have a little bit of, come on guys. You get the same points for a game you play for 15 minutes and a game you play for 20. Come on guys.
Yeah, their point system was a little jacked, but yeah. RIP Future Monkeys.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's me. Meef, how about you?
All right. Well, speaking of Future Monkeys, shout out to Los, Elusive Man. He's up in the Dad Tales podcast Discord. I may see if I can get him in some Il Resto stuff for some Destiny action now that we got the cross save going on. But he's good people. When I took my family to Disney January before last, he gave me the inside scoop on all the Disney stuff. So if you're planning on going to Orlando, find Los, Elusive Man, because he will tell you everything you need to know about fast passes, this, that, and the other.
Yeah, my Pooh Bear went with her other parents and stuff to Orlando last week, but they didn't do the Disney thing. They did the SeaWorld and all that other stuff. Yeah,
well, they're down there, so they have Los has the information on all that stuff, and he really helped us out a lot when we went down there. Cool. But yeah, I appreciate coming on here. Even though I'm not always able to submit entries into y'all's impossible contests of what's the brand of Lucas's shirt or whatever the crap it's going to be this week.
No, it's going to be what's on the pillow behind Chase.
Then, I at least hear you guys and watch y'all when possible. So even though I may not chime in every single week, I'm listening. Angry Mailman podcast, shout those guys out. They're still churning out shows. I'm
like super behind though. Like super behind.
Catch up. It's they're putting out some good stuff. It's funny. And like I said, I'm not doing Everyday Gamers anymore, but I'm doing Extra Life this year. And the cool thing about that is I haven't raised a lot of money, but I am on a team called Good for Gaming. Good, the number 4, and then gaming. Yep. So look that up. Join the team if you want to raise money for your local hospital. Our team, last I checked, was number 6 overall, which is crazy.
Nice.
We've raised tens of thousands of dollars to help sick kids. And
sorry.
Like, for
Are you like visualizing just the 6 kids? Helping 6 kids. Only 6. Not 7 or more.
There's only 6 of them.
Kids. Yeah. But we're helping them real good with that money.
The cool thing about it, though, is Dave, who is the ambassador for Good for Gaming, he came to me and said, hey, this year we want to, instead of naming it Good for Gaming, we want our team name to be Mason's Little Warriors. So for anyone who's not aware, Scar, I know you are,
all right.
We lost our son Mason 3.5 years ago. He was a twin, born in December 2013, passed away in January of 2016. So he was just over the age of 2. And he was in and out of Children's Hospital of Alabama. And so for Dave and everybody on the Mason's Little Warriors team to kind of rally behind our family, and kind of keep Mason's legacy alive has been really, really cool. And I really appreciate him for that, and just the whole Extra Life effort, in general. So, like I said, if you aren't already involved in Extra Life, I would encourage you to join the Team Good for Gaming, hashtag Team MLW. And if that's not your thing, I would encourage you to find someone to, donate $1 or $5 or $10 or whatever to.
Mm-hmm.
This past weekend, one of our team members, Rocker Dude, who I met through the Dad Tales podcast, and then he eventually, took a break from podcasting with those guys, and then eventually joined the Il Resto Destiny clan. He had a 12-hour stream yesterday and raised like over $300 for his local hospital. So, you can follow me at MeefJ on Twitter. Like, that's all well and good, but above everything, I'd encourage you to get involved with Extra Life or Child's Play or your charity of choice. So that's what I got.
Cool, man. Yeah, Extra Life is good stuff.
Go ahead and wrap up, Doug. You got it.
Yeah, man. So, definitely, like I said before, check us out on the Discords, and all our information's in the show notes, and we'll try to make sure we have the information for our guests in the show notes as well.
I don't know if anybody's ever noticed, but I try to be a little bit funny with the show notes, especially during the August stuff. Like, instead of calling Elaine, I called her, well, you can find Unleash the Dragon at blah, blah, blah. Like, stuff like that. Yeah. No one has ever said anything about it. I tried to be a little bit clever with it, but it was like,
Well, next time she's on, you need to, bleach your hair silver.
I totally want to do that. I totally want to do that. That's a conversation for another time.
But you, you can catch us later at the Scarcasms, because that's our podcast. Peace out to them Warriors. Later.
To the Warriors, yo. You just totally, you totally jacked that whole thing up.
I like that shit, yeah, boy. Look, I'm telling you, Walt. All right, I ain't gonna talk.
I thought he was gonna start singing.
Like, this is the podcast. This is the reason why I can't quit. Like, this is the exact reason why I can't quit, because I can't listen to you and you can't start and end the show.
It makes me nervous when I have a heckler in the audience.
Who was heckling you?
You.
Amber.
All the time.
Amber's in the background.
Blaming Amber again.
Like, Chase, that was terrible.
Probably.
You need to just embrace it, Chase, and just.
She throws tomatoes at me and just says ketchup.
Yeah, that's me. I'm out. yeah. That's the moment where you just hang up. Like,
everybody loves me.
Pulp Fiction action.
On behalf of the Scarcasm podcast, we apologize for Chase.
No,
on the behalf of the
Chase is vital to the show. If you were pulling this solo, you'd be like, "Nah, I'm done."
Oh no, yeah, I would have been done a long time ago. But the fact that Chase edits the show has done wonders for me.
That's how it was with EDG. You know, I was like, Eric, as long as you got it, I'll hang in the cut as long as I can.
I won't touch editing with a 10-foot pole. I just host most of the time and just leave it at that.
Well, you got the intros down pat more than I do. But what if I just start like every week? I'm like, "What is up, my brothers and sisters? It's a Scarcasm."
Yes, with that voice.
Yeah, but you got to do
it. What is up?
I sound like a ghoul from Fallout. What is up, smooth skins? This is Scarcasm.
Creepy, like, what's going on, guys? This is Scarcasm, and we're here to podcast in your ear holes.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what y'all need to do next week. Be like, we switched to the ASMR format because we hear it's really popular on YouTube. So
I'm just like,
for the next hour and a half, you're going to hear Chase whispering a story about his most recent grocery trip.
I think you should take the listeners on a journey and just start using every other podcast intro.
And I'm like,
and at the end of it all, you do your own. You just do your own intro.
So I was in Walmart, and yeah.
I bought this apple that I'm going to eat on the podcast.
I can crinkle cans.
It was a green apple. Yeah. You have to say yeah after everything. It's going to make it more creepy.
Oh, Granny Smith. Yeah.
Hey, I don't know if we're still recording, but I'm just going to say Blue Man Rule is going to get last place in our OFR Fantasy Football League this year.
Oh, that bad? Did he get Andrew Luck?
He auto-drafted for his first 3 picks. So, I mean, he got 3 good wide receivers, but, you know.
We are still recording Meef.
After that, he was just playing catch-up, so
he's playing with tomatoes again?
So, Larry, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Larry, too.
Yeah, Larry, I don't know you, but I do feel very sorry for you.
You should know Larry, because he's like the Luther Vandross of podcasting.
I met him at PAX South in San Antonio, and it was cold as Meef there, and he let me borrow his
Texas
jacket.
Ever cold?
It was. I know exactly. I didn't pack right for that mess, and he let me borrow his jacket. He's a good people's.
Yeah, I mean, but you don't realize until you meet him how short he is. Like, he is so short.
That's just because you're tall, man.
I'm not even that tall. Meef can attest to this.
He thinks that people are 5'8" or short.
Is that what Larry is? 5'8"?
Me, Anthony, and his brother the other day. It came up in my Amazon throwback.
Yep, I did see that. I saw.
How tall are you? How tall are you guys?
I'm just under 6 foot. Like,
me too. I say 6 foot, but it's 5'11" and 3/4. Like,
pretty much. Like, I'm 6 foot with shoes on.
Yeah.
I'm 5'9.62" or so.
Like
I'm 5'8".
Yeah, you were pretty short. We still never got a picture from when I was there. Yeah. All right, so I'm gone. I said, all right. Thank y'all for being on the show.
Thanks for having us.
It was a good stinking time. We definitely need to have you back on again.
Anytime.
and we can get this thing popping. And I'll just let you talk over Chase. How about that?
We love you, Chase.
I think that's better for everybody. Even Chase, because
got the nose.
At some point you got to just stop him.
And now that I know you guys vape on the show, we'll see what I bring next time you have me on.
Word up.
Word up.
Do you like Sepultura?
I don't even know what that means.
I don't either.
They're a Brazilian metal band.
Oh, okay. I don't know that you're pronouncing it right, but okay. Because that did not sound like Portuguese.
Sepultura isn't Portuguese.
Do you speak the language?
What's that?
Do you speak the language?
Yeah.
Oh, word.
I do. On the last podcast we recorded, the pastor that I was working with during the mission trip came into the room I was podcasting in, and we started having a conversation. It was good times.
That's awesome. I need to go back and catch that.
Yeah, I think it's in the outtakes.
Word up.
I love that Lucas listened to like one episode of Scarcasm and y'all listened to like 0 episodes of Good Morning Guys. That's just hilarious.
I listened to Good Morning Guys.
Yeah, Chase has.
Yeah, he knew my intro. What's up, my brothers and sisters? I never say that, but that's okay.
But
I mean, I only listened. Last minute, I was like, I need to sneak in an episode so I at least know what's going on. So I listened to the last episode.
Word up. All right, I'm going to sleep or something.
But
yep,
I'm going away.
Okay. But Lucas,
good hanging out with you guys.
We need to stop Chase from talking.
In your Discord, I sent a